Alright, so now we're going to look at doing the wheel well around this tire here. Let's go in and look once again at the reference file. So I'll do a quick save with this. Alright, and then jump over here to open up the Moon Truck version 2. Yes. And once again, shade this. Okay, so this, now you can do it however you want, or including wheel wells, but for this one I simply did a sphere. Okay, so that's what you see back here. Alright, highlight that. And then around the edges of this, I added in, it's actually a, what is the tool here? Under surfaces, rolled edge, the flange fillet, or the fillet flange tool. Okay, so that what I get is a rolled edge right there along the edge of the fillet, and then the flange part is that right there. So let's highlight these two. Okay, so just to kind of give it a little bit of depth. I didn't do any blending or surface fillets into the main body with this. I could do that as well, but we'll take a look at that and see if we can come up with what we can do with that. Now, also what I did, because I wanted to notice another thing about this detail. Let me just kind of shade this again. That sphere that wraps around here actually follows this surface fairly closely, if you'll notice that. So to do that detail, what I did is I went ahead and modeled my overall sphere. I offset this one so it had a little bit of a gap, and then I intersected and trimmed down this one, and that's where I put my rolled edge on it. Okay, so we'll try to go through the steps and look at doing that. Alright, back to our reference file. So once again, from last lesson, open up video demo version 5, delete objects, yes. Alright, let me go in here. Now, I don't need, once again, I don't need this whole thing. I probably can get away with about half of it, okay? Meaning half the sphere. So let's go underneath surfaces, primitive, go to the option box for sphere, switch this to 180, okay? And the number of section represents the number of internal isoperm, so we can get away with probably 4. Alright, and once again I'll kind of eyeball it in there. I'll start manipulating this. Once again, the first thing is probably flip it up in the right direction. Okay. Bring it over. Let's just click on that and we'll drag it over. Now this is a little tricky because you kind of estimate where you think it's going to be. And it was also flattened out a great deal. So now I'll scale it up. See how it scales back to there. Let's push it out. And let's do this. Let's shade this view. This window keeps coming in a little messed up. Let's put it back. Alright. Okay, pretty good, pretty good. Right. Now I want to go a little bit further in with this. Okay, because like I said, we're going to offset this one and intersect it. Now let's run into my tire there, so I need to go this way with it. Now, this, like I said, was kind of a little tricky with all this, so I'll do a little non-proportional scaling that way. I'll flatten it out this way. Still cutting through the tire that way, so let's come down this way. So, this was all just kind of really eyeballing and guessing before I ended up kind of getting happy with what came about. So, it looks about right. Okay, now I don't worry about that because that's going to be trimmed off. Alright, now I'm going to want to use this for the backside, kind of simpler one. So before I end up going in and trimming this out, and actually may need to push it out just a little bit more. Let's do that real quick. Sorry, you see right there it's kind of thin. So transform jacks, push it out this way a little bit. Come down, trying to make it even now visually around there. It looks pretty good there. And do a little more non-proportional scaling. I think we can get away with that. Great. Like I said, before I go and trim this all down, I want to copy it and put a copy back there. So go to Edit, Copy, Edit, Paste. Okay. And what I'll do is go ahead and say Move. And I can use that real quick. Move it over. And we'll put it back there. We haven't put the rear wheel in yet, so we'll stick it there. And I'll assign it to the other layer. Let's go ahead and do this. So assign it to the bed layer. And then we'll turn off the visibility of the bed layer for right now. Alright, awesome. Okay, now it's time to do I'll offset with this one, and then trim, or intersect, and then trim that surface down. Okay, I'm going to keep this open for a second. So say pick nothing, pick this main sphere. Okay, let's close down a few of these so we can stay focused on what we need to. Alright, underneath Object, there is the Offset tool there. Okay, so I'm going to click on that, and there's my little indicator which direction. Once again, if you click on it, it changes direction. If you click on, okay, and I think this one you can just click and drag, and it's a little hard to see. It looks pretty good. Let's pull it out just a little bit more. Okay, now this is doing the whole sphere. I think I can do it just a little bit more. Alright, I think that's probably good. Hit offset to that. Alright, if you realize after this tool you're using and it's not right, this little H right here, and you can also get to it by going to Windows, Information History View. Okay, so either one will bring up this palette right here. What this does, let me say pick nothing, and pick Object. If you click on that, it brings back up the offset control. And actually, I'll just even this out to 15, let's say. Alright, and then you can adjust that distance there. Okay, so that takes care of the offset. Now what I need to do is intersect the offset with this surface and then trim the surface down. Okay, and then we'll basically hide the offset. What we'll do is create a new layer. Let's go ahead and do that. Right mouse click and say Insert New Layer. We'll call this Extras. Okay, and we'll grab it and drag it kind of down. I'm using the middle mouse button. Put it down here towards the bottom. And if I want to, I'll go ahead and select it. Just going to assign it over here and assign. Alright, so now, like I said, we're going to intersect this time. So close this out, look underneath Surface Edit, right mouse click on Main tab, and underneath Create Curve on Surfaces tab, there's the Intersect. Okay, so this works with two different inputs. So once again, you select one set, okay, in this case just one surface, hit go, and then you select the intersecting surface. So I'll select that other sphere. Doesn't give you much feedback. I can tell it worked because I got a little line right there. Real quick, pick nothing, pick Object to get out of the tool, turn off Shade, and it's kind of hard to see. I'll use this Pick Curve on Surface to select it, and then I'll shade it back. But right there's that intersection. Okay, and now let's turn off the extras and pick the cab. Good. So there is my curve on surface. Okay, and it looks pretty good. Now we'll use that to do a trim operation. So I'll click. Since I already had the surface, gotta keep telling. You actually gotta do tell it. All right, and then tell it. Remember, one of these three choices. In this case, I'll click there, and that's the part I want to keep. Okay. Now, there we go. That's what I want. Perfect. Now, what I really want also is to trim out this one because, I don't have a hole there in my main sphere. So let's do one more intersection. So once again, I'll pick. This time I'll pre-select the sphere. I'll use click on there to select it. And for this, if you pre-select, all you got to do is select then what surfaces you want to intersect. Click once, it's done it. Alright, pick nothing, pick Object. I'll use the Trim tool, click there. Now I gotta be careful with this one because this actually has several areas that I may want to keep or and all. So So let's see, keep, click right there and say keep on this one. Alright, can't tell really it did anything, but if I tumble underneath and look inside, there's the cutout. Okay, awesome. Now, like I said, I'm going to show you one other little way to make a, surfaces in any program are zero thickness. So, visually you can see it, but it doesn't really have any thickness. So underneath my surfaces tab, let me right mouse click. I want to do, once again, a rolled edge, but do this fillet flange. So I'll select it, open up the option box, click on this outside edge, and now look for the little arrow there, okay, or the cross section, I should say. So with this one, it's kind of going the right way, but I want to do more of an angle, so that's right there. So let's see if we can crank it up, and it takes a little bit, but it should start rolling over like that. Okay, looks pretty good. Let's turn off shade so we can see it. Ooh, way too much. Sorry, jumped up on me. So that's good. Okay, about 170 there. Now the diameter is up here, so let's cut that down to about 3. Looks pretty good. And then the flange length, I'll do about 20, just to make sure I go in there far enough. Hang on, that may not have been. It should, there, just didn't jump update. Okay, let's hit build, shade it again, and there we go. Voila. Okay. Awesome, that's what I want. Now, I can definitely now jump and use another tool, like the surface fillet tool, like we did with this. So let's do that. Click there, click there. Remember, these got to point to the center. Okay, that one's going the wrong direction. That one's going right. The question is what size? Ooh, that's way too big. Let's cut that back down, like 3 in this case. Hit build. There we go. Now we can probably get a little bigger. Let's be able to actually see it. Hit update. Alright, now we got a little blend as well. Oops, sorry. Okay. So it's a little extra detail. Yeah. It almost probably ran out of some. Oh, that was real close. Didn't notice that. Oh, but we actually are running through the tire. Now, I'm going to save this. Let me do a quick file, save as. Okay, and this is going to be the 6th one. What I want to try to do, okay, is notice I ran into the tire there. So in reality, this is not correct. I want to fix it, or try to fix it. So I either want to try to move the original sphere or do a little non-proportional scaling. Okay, and actually I notice, okay, back on this tool I didn't quite tell it to trim it out properly. So let's go fix that real quick. So once again, remember you can click there. That was a couple tools back that flange. And what was wrong is here's auto trim wasn't turned on. And hit update. And now you see that it trimmed it out properly. Okay. Still didn't fix this all the way, but at least that looks right. Alright, pick nothing. Pick this sphere. Move around, and I'm going to try to do a little middle mouse button, non-proportional scaling. Alright. Now, because this is at a funky angle, I'm not quite sure what values or which one I should try. I'm going to start with my left mouse button. Okay. And that's, well, actually might be right. Let's push it out just a little bit and see what happens. Now, in theory, if everything's working and all, it should update. Looks like it did fairly decent with that. Okay. Not too bad. Okay. Let's actually, let's go back and turn on the jack, because that's real kind of helpful in this case. Let's see if I can get back to it. Alright, good. Now I actually want to try to move it in this next step. So I'll pull it over just a little bit. Now, because of all the updates it's trying to get through, it's going to sit there and crunch a little bit beforehand. Okay. And it may jump a little bit. So I did one update. Now it's kind of moving to the next spot. And keep my fingers crossed. Now, I didn't mention this, and I should have. Part of the reason I went ahead and had you save the file is that, it's doing some heavy duty calculating as it goes through, does this, and it can definitely crap out on you and crash. So, save, make sure you go in and do the save beforehand so you don't lose your work. Okay. Yes, looks like it's working pretty good. Everything's in there is looking good. All right, it's close, but um, I'll do a little more scaling, just a touch. All right, keep my fingers in that. All right, we'll go with that. I don't want to belabor the point, but it just shows you what you can do with this. All right, and give it a second to kind of settle down, go through all the updates. Oh, that's a little bit bigger, but that worked. All right, good. Pick nothing, and then we'll do a save. All right, so that's the right file. Good. So now what we'll do is take look at our bed area and how to do some details in that.